Now let us come back to multiplying and dividing integers. And so at this point we are done with adding and subtracting integers because they pretty much have their own set of rules when doing adding and subtracting integers. Now that we're moving into the multiplications and divisions of integers, obviously this subset of multiplications and divisions has their own rules in regulating our integers operations. So we're going to take a look at them very soon. So multiplications and divisions. Integers. Before we do anything, there are a few notes that you guys should know. And please take notes of the following. So rule number 1, the product of two positive numbers okay, 1 second. So the product of two positive numbers is always positive. The second rule is that the product of two negative numbers is always positive. Okay, number 3, the product of one negative numbers and one positive numbers is always negative. So please keep these two principles in mind. And those of you who don't know what product is, here's another note for you. Product is the result from multiplications. Okay, so what do we mean by that? Let me give you a quick example so you will know what that is. So let's say I'm giving you equations of 2 times 3 equal to 6. Okay, there's no problem with it. But there's another way of saying this operation is that you can also say that 6 is the product of 2 and 3. Okay, let us refer back to the meaning of product. That is the results of the results from multiplications. So when you look back at the equations or the operation in itself, we can see that the answers from the multiplication is 6. So 6 becomes the products because 6 is the result coming from the multiplications. And now we try to apply what do we know about products to our principles of 1, 2, 3. So say that, please copy the 3 principles down first. Now we're going to move on to some of the other examples. Okay, example number 1. That will refer directly to the principle number 1. The product of 2 positive numbers is positive. Let's say 6 times 2. What do we have? That will equal to 12. Now take a look at each numbers we're multiplying. 6 is a positive numbers. 2 is a positive numbers. So the product coming from 2 positive numbers is always positive. Which is why when you do 6 times 2, you end up having a positive 12. Okay, principle number 2 that says the product of 2 negative numbers is always positive. So that's what we mean by it. That, let's say I have negative 3 times negative 4. The product, which is the final answers coming from the multiplications of 2 negative numbers, is always positive. So negative 3 times negative 4 will also end up with positive 12. Now let us refer back to principle number 3. The product of one negative numbers and one positive number is always negative. Okay, example number 3. Let's say I have negative 3 multiplied by a positive 4. That's what we mean by the third principle, that when a negative numbers and a positive numbers, when they multiply, it will end up to be a negative numbers. In this case, it will be negative 12. Now let us work on a few examples so we can see how it actually looks like. Let's say, okay, question number 4. Say I have negative 12 times, okay, times negative 8. Okay, I'm doing a negative multiplied by negative numbers. So when 2 negative numbers multiply, guess what? That will become a positive 96. This is directly referring to principle number 2. The product of 2 negative numbers is always positive. That means when 2 negative numbers multiply, you end up having a positive numbers as the final answers. Number 5. Let's say I have I times negative 7. A positive numbers multiply by a negative numbers will always get you a negative numbers. Negative 63 will now become the answers. Now let's do some problems on divisions. Coming back here, because this video we're going to talk about division as well. So how should we handle dividing integers problems. Pretty much divisions will follow the same rule as these three principles. Now let us just change a few words so that you know what it is when it comes to divisions. At this point, we no longer use the word product, but we'll use the word quotient. Sorry. Quotients. And so, what do we mean by quotient? Quotient is the result from divisions. Okay, now let's take a look. Let's say I'm doing operations of 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. Another word of saying this operation is that 4, because 4 is the answers from the divisions, so 4 is the quotient from 8 and 2. Now, because the principles are remain the same as divisions, so as multiplications, so we're just gonna jump right in to our example problems. So say that you have question number 6. You have negative 95 divided by 5. Sometimes you might also see it as represented like that, negative 95 over 5. They mean the same thing. Again, whenever something is over something, it is divisions. So negative 95 divided by 5, because I am dividing a negative numbers by a positive numbers, so your final answers remain negative. Now is the time for you to find out what is 95 over 5. You can do the math. The final answer is 19. So negative 95 divided by 5 equals to negative 19. And number 7, let's say negative 81 divided by 3. Again, negative numbers divided by positive numbers always get you negative answers. Now is the time for you to figure it out. What is 81 divided by 3? That will get you 27. Okay, number 8. Let's say you have 0 divided by 12. Divide by negative 12. So automatically you might think that positive divided by negative, it should be a negative something, right? But in this case, no, because 0 is a very special numbers that whatever it divided by a numbers, it always end up 0. 0 divided by anything is equal to 0. That includes negative numbers. So there's no positive 0 or negative 0. They don't exist. It's just 0. And so we'll work on 2 more problems. Number 9. Let's say we're doing negative 72 divided by negative 4. So because I'm dividing 2 negative numbers, so negative divided by negative is always positive. So it will be a positive. 72 divided by 4 is 18. So altogether is positive 18. So just write 18 as it is. Number 10. Let's say I am doing 84 divided by negative 6. Again, it doesn't matter whether the negative is in the front, applies on the first number or the second numbers, but whenever there's just one positive numbers and a negative numbers within the divisions, within the dividing operations, the answers has to be negative. Now then, you just figure out what is 84 divided by 6. In this case, it is 16. So altogether, your final answers is negative 16. And that's pretty much it in terms of multiplications and divisions of integers. This week we'll also work on a classwork, and I will post the classwork online as well as how I would do it. I'll record my work on doing the classwork, so hopefully you guys will follow and do the in-class classwork. You guys will learn more and have a little bit more practice on it.